Hi, I'm Eliam. Today I'm going to tell you my story. But before I continue, please like, share, and subscribe to hear more stories like this. Hey, when are you actually going to start dating again? Marcus asked, leaning back in the leather chair across from my desk. I sighed, rubbing my temples. Running Apex Innovations had consumed my life for the past 5 years. I don't have time, Marcus. The Morgan acquisition, the quarterly projections that, Marcus interrupted. You're 34, successful, and haven't been on a date in what? A year? 14 months, I muttered. That's practically criminal, Marcus said, shaking his head dramatically. What's the point of all this success if you're just going to work yourself to death alone in this office? Some of us actually care about building something meaningful, I countered. And some of us care about our friends becoming hermits, he shot back. Come on, when was the last time you did anything fun? Remember fun, Eliam? That thing people do when they're not reviewing quarterly projections? I couldn't help but smile. I vaguely recall the concept. My wife's cousin just moved to the city, Harvard Business School grad, works at Diamante Finance. Perfect for you. Not interested, I said, returning to the contract on my desk. Did I mention she's brilliant, speaks 4 languages, volunteers at that literacy foundation you donated to last year? Marcus, 1 dinner, Eliam, that's all I'm asking. 1 dinner, and if you don't hit it off, I'll never bring it up again. I looked at my oldest friend's hopeful expression. Fine, 1 dinner. This Friday, 8 p.m. Laviano's. I'll text you her number. He grinned triumphantly. You won't regret this. Friday arrived quickly. I barely made it out of the office by 7:15 when my assistant, Rachel, reminded me of the reservation. Mr. Mercer, it's 7:15. Didn't you mention a dinner reservation at 8? I jolted upright. Thanks, Rachel. Can you call my driver? Already did. He'll be downstairs in 5 minutes. What would I do without you? I smiled gratefully. Probably miss a lot more reservations, she quipped. The Henderson contract needs your signature before Monday. I'll review it tomorrow. On a Saturday? Eliam, when was the last time you took a weekend off? I grabbed my jacket. I'll take one when the company hits a $10 billion valuation. At this rate, you'll work yourself into an early grave before that happens. Her tone was light, but her eyes showed genuine concern. The restaurant was everything you'd expect from a Michelin-starred Italian place. The maitre d' directed me to wait at the bar, where a woman in a simple black dress caught my eye. She sat alone, looking uncomfortable amid the wealthy clientele. This seat taken? I asked. She looked up, startled. Oh no, go ahead. I'm Eliam, I said, extending my hand. Mia, she replied, her handshake firm. Are you waiting for someone too? Blind date, I admitted. You? Job interview, actually. The owner wants to meet potential event coordinators. The bartender approached. What can I get you, sir? Macallan 18 neat, I said automatically, then glanced at Mia's nearly empty glass, and another of whatever the lady's having. Oh, you don't have to, she protested. Please, I insist. She relented. It's just club soda with lime, trying to stay sharp for the interview. Smart, nervous about it? I asked. Terrified, she admitted with a small laugh. This place is so intimidating. The owner's bark is worse than his bite, I reassured her, though I barely knew the man. So blind date, huh? Mia asked. Friend set you up? Oldest friend won't stop pestering me about my work-life balance. Or lack thereof? She teased. I smiled. Something like that. What about you? What brought you to New York? Dreams of the big time, she said. I've been planning events since I was a teenager, helping my mom with her small business back in Ohio. After she passed away last year, I decided life's too short not to chase what you want. I'm sorry about your mom, I said softly. Thanks. She would have loved this city, all the energy, the possibilities. And how's it treating you so far? She wrinkled her nose. Honestly, it's kicking my butt. 2 jobs, tiny apartment with 3 roommates, endless rejection. But I'm not giving up. What kind of events do you specialize in? I asked. Anything and everything right now. I can't afford to be picky. Birthday parties, office potlucks, small weddings. I'm trying to build a portfolio to attract corporate clients. We fell into easy conversation. I found myself talking more openly than I had in months. What about you? She asked. What do you do? I run a tech company, I said. Apex Innovations. Her eyes widened slightly. The AI healthcare company? I read about your partnership with Memorial Hospital. That's amazing work. You follow tech news? I follow all kinds of news. Know your industry, right? She smiled. Your neural interface project sounds fascinating. Making healthcare more accessible through technology. That's something that matters. I was impressed. Most people only knew Apex for its stock performance. The maitre d' appeared. Mr. Mercer, your table is ready. Your guest has arrived. I should go, I said reluctantly. Good luck with your interview. Thanks for the drink, Mia replied. And the company. Victoria Palmer was polished, sophisticated, objectively beautiful. The conversation was smooth but calculated. So, 3 years at Goldman before Diamante? I asked. Yes, though I'm considering other opportunities. I understand Apex is expanding its financial division. I nodded slowly, seeing the angle. We're always looking for talent. Perhaps we could discuss possibilities, she said, leaning forward. I've been following Apex closely. Your latest quarterly report showed impressive growth, but I noticed your capital allocation strategy seems conservative. We prioritize long-term sustainability over short-term gains. Admirable, but potentially limiting in today's market. I've developed models that could optimize your returns while maintaining reasonable risk profiles. Before I could respond, a commotion near the bar caught my attention. The restaurant owner was speaking harshly to Mia. I specifically requested candidates with luxury brand experience, he was saying loudly. Your resume is woefully inadequate. But your assistant said, Mia began. This is a waste of my time. I approached the bar. Is there a problem here? The owner turned, recognition dawning. Mr. Mercer, no problem, just a misunderstanding about qualifications. Actually, Miss Chen is consulting on an event for Apex, I lied. Our table's ready, shall we? I guided her to my table where Victoria watched with narrowed eyes. Victoria, this is Mia Chen, Apex's new event coordinator. How unexpected, Victoria said, her smile tight. I wasn't aware Apex was in the habit of conducting business at dinner reservations. We're not usually, I replied smoothly. Mia's a special case. The dinner that followed was tense, filled with loaded exchanges. So, Mia, Victoria said sweetly, what firm were you with before Apex? Mia's an entrepreneur, I interrupted. She built her business from scratch. How quaint, Victoria replied. And what exactly qualifies you to handle events for a multi-billion-dollar corporation? Mia straightened. Creativity, adaptability, and a genuine understanding of how to connect people to a company's mission. Technology companies often struggle to humanize their innovations. I specialize in creating experiences that bridge that gap. I smiled, impressed by her composure. Victoria turned to me. Speaking of connecting, Marcus tells me you're quite close with Senator Williams. His committee oversees tech regulation, doesn't it? We've met at charity functions, I said neutrally. Daddy says personal relationships are crucial in navigating regulatory hurdles. Perhaps we could host a dinner for the senator? I have some connections at the Hamptons Golf Club he frequents. The networking intentions couldn't have been clearer. After dinner, I offered to drive Mia home, ignoring Victoria's icy stare. I owe you an explanation, I said in the car, and an apology. For what? Saving me from humiliation? For using you to escape a bad date, she laughed. I think we helped each other. On Monday, Marcus stormed into my office. What happened with Victoria? She says you abandoned her for some waitress. I didn't abandon anyone. Mia's our new event planner. After knowing her for what? An hour? Victoria's family has connections, Eliam. Her father plays golf with half the venture capitalists in the country. I'm not dating someone for business connections. This Mia girl, what do you even know about her? Marcus demanded. I know she's genuine, talented, resourceful. Resourceful? Marcus scoffed. Victoria graduated summa cum laude from Harvard and has been fired from at least one job for ethics violations, I replied, surprising myself with how certain I was of this despite having no proof. After Marcus left, I called Rachel. Find out everything you can about Victoria Palmer. 2 days later, Mia presented her gala plans to my executive team. Innovation Illuminated isn't just a theme, she explained confidently. It's a storytelling framework. As guests move through the space, lighting transitions will guide them through Apex's journey, from founding vision to future impact. My marketing director leaned forward, intrigued. How would you showcase our neural interface prototype? The centerpiece, Mia replied. A custom-designed interactive display showing real-time simulations of how the interface translates neural signals. We'll pair it with testimonials from test patients projected on surrounding screens. Only Bradley Winters, my CFO, remained skeptical. The budget's quite ambitious for someone with limited experience, he noted coldly. Every element has measurable ROI, Mia countered. Mr. Mercer mentioned potential partnerships worth millions are initiated at these events. Just one successful connection justifies the investment. After the meeting, Bradley confronted me. This girl, where did you find her? Mia came highly recommended. By whom? Does it matter? Her work speaks for itself. Victoria Palmer called me yesterday, he said casually. Mentioned you two had dinner. The night of the gala arrived. The Grand Hyatt ballroom was transformed beautifully. As guests arrived, Marcus entered with Victoria. Eliam, Marcus greeted me stiffly. Quite the event. Mia's vision, not mine. Victoria assessed Mia coldly. Impressive for someone with your background. Later, Victoria cornered me. Daddy's been following Apex. The Millennium Board votes on funding next week. Our presentation speaks for itself. Let's not be naive. Business is about relationships. If Daddy thought we were close, it could only help Apex's chances. Are you suggesting I date you to secure funding? I'm suggesting a mutually beneficial arrangement. We're well matched, Eliam. I understand your world. And what does Marcus get out of this arrangement? Her smile faltered slightly. Marcus? This isn't about him, isn't it? You two seem awfully coordinated. Near midnight, Bradley confronted me. Marcus says you offended Victoria and her father. We need Millennium's funding. We'll find it elsewhere if necessary. There is no elsewhere, Bradley hissed. The neural interface deadline is tight, all because you're infatuated with some nobody event planner instead of making smart alliances. Shortly after, Rachel called about a security breach. Our investigation revealed Bradley had accessed confidential files during the gala. The logs show he downloaded everything, our IT director explained. Research, prototypes, market analysis, the complete neural interface portfolio. Can we trace what happened to the files? I asked. He sent them to an encrypted email address, but we've tracked IP addresses accessing our system from Diamante Finance's network over the past 3 weeks. Victoria, I muttered. The next morning I confronted Marcus. Your blind date nearly cost me my company. Eliam, I swear I didn't know, he insisted, face pale. Victoria said her father genuinely wanted to invest. Now you're going to call Victoria. Tell her our neural interface had a fatal flaw. The project's dead. You want me to lie to her? Why? Because she and Bradley tried to sabotage Apex. We need proof. The trap worked perfectly. When Victoria shorted Apex stock based on the false tip, her illegal trading was exposed. Meanwhile, Millennium approved our funding with better terms. You really didn't know? I asked Marcus a week later as we sat in my office reviewing the damage. He shook his head miserably. I thought I was helping. Victoria and I dated briefly in college. When she moved here, she reached out, mentioned she was looking to meet someone. Successful. And you thought of me? You're my best friend. She seemed perfect on paper. He rubbed his face. I had no idea she was using me to get to Apex. She even suggested... He trailed off, embarrassed. Suggested what? That if the match worked out, her father might consider me for a position at Millennium. I thought it was just talk, I sighed. You were played, Marcus. I'm sorry, Eliam, truly. I know. I pushed a folder across my desk. The board wants your resignation. His face fell. You're firing me? As board chairman, yes, but I convinced them to let you keep your shares. You helped build this company, Marcus. That counts for something. The investigation into Bradley went deeper than we initially thought. Forensic accountants discovered he'd been taking kickbacks for years, steering Apex contracts toward vendors with connections to Victoria's father. It was an elaborate scheme, the head investigator explained during a closed board meeting. Bradley would identify potential acquisition targets valuable to Apex. Then Victoria's father would make initial investments to drive up the purchase price. They split the difference. How long? I asked. At least 3 years. We estimate they've cost Apex over $30 million. 3 months later, Apex's valuation crossed $10 billion. Bradley was facing federal charges for securities fraud and corporate espionage. Victoria was banned from trading and her father's firm was under SEC investigation. As for Mia, her event planning business took off after the spectacular success of our gala. She hired 3 assistants and moved into a proper office downtown. The restaurant owner called again, Mia told me over dinner at my apartment, offered to double his previous offer. What did you say? I asked. That I'd consider it after he publicly apologizes for how he treated me. That's my girl. I raised my glass. To sweet justice. And unexpected meetings at bars, she added, clinking her glass against mine. I never properly thanked Marcus for that blind date. Maybe send him a gift basket? Thanks for introducing me to the worst people I've ever met so I could find the best. I laughed, reaching for her hand. Sometimes the wrong people lead you to the right ones. How does it feel? She asked, hitting your 10 billion goal. Honestly, not as satisfying as I expected. No? The company was never the end goal, just a means to prove something, to build something meaningful. And now I realize what's actually meaningful. I squeezed her hand. What happens next is about more than just Apex. So, what happens now with Apex? She asked. Now I focus on what matters, starting with taking actual vacations with my girlfriend. I could get used to that, she smiled, leaning in for a kiss. You know, I said afterward, the company retreat is next month in Bali. As our official event planner, you'd have to come. Is that so? She teased. Absolutely, it's in your contract. I don't recall signing a contract, she laughed. We can fix that, I said, suddenly serious. Mia, I want you in my life, professionally, personally, completely. Her eyes softened. I like the sound of that. Good, I said, pulling her close, because after everything we've been through, I'm not letting you go. 6 months later, we returned to Laviano's. The owner himself greeted us, practically bowing as he led us to the best table. Miss Chen, Mr. Mercer, we're honored to have you. Everything is on the house tonight. Actually, I said, we'll pay full price, but there is something you could do for us. Anything, sir. I nodded toward the bar. That young woman in the corner? She's interviewing to be Mia's assistant. Make sure she gets treated well. His face reddened with understanding. Of course, sir. Right away. As he hurried off, Mia squeezed my hand. Full circle. With a better ending, I replied, pulling out a small velvet box. Speaking of endings, how about we start a new chapter? Her eyes widened as I opened the box. Eliam, marry me, Mia. Be my partner in everything. Yes, she whispered, tears in her eyes. 1,000 times yes. What would you do if someone tried to sabotage your career or business? Would you confront them directly or set a trap like Eliam did?